Radio Raumstation. 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Today with Mr. GENE O Neill. Hi Gene, so kind and nice you agreed to tell us a bit about your music life here in Radio Raumstation. Really highly appreciated to see you. I already found out you started to play music in 1967. Did you have teachers or how did you come to music?
Well, hi, Melanie. Thank you for asking me to be part of this. I'm glad that you did. Let's see. How did I come to find out about music? Well, just like everybody else, I'd heard music on the radio and on the television, and that was one thing. But hearing it live is completely different. And so for me, the first time I heard live music was I was a student at St. Leo's Catholic School in Winston-Salem, and the North Carolina State Symphony's brass section came and played for us. And it just knocked me flat. I loved it. It was something akin to a religious experience. And meanwhile, all the kids around me were dying. They couldn't wait for it to be over with, but I still found it to be a really important experience. And just a little while past that, let's see, how do I begin? The drink companies, back when I was a kid, they would sponsor theaters, and you could go to the show, and the drink company would let you get in if you brought a soda bottle in. And so I remember the day that we went, I brought my drink bottle, and not only did I get to see a movie and some cartoons, before all of that started, there was a live rock and roll band, and I think they were called the Comets. And it was really cool. I could kind of hear a hum from the amplifiers and see the red pilot lights of all those Fender amps that were on the stage. And they started playing, and it was just incredible. One of those life-changing events. Live rock and roll is something that's indescribable, but once you experience it, it's like, well, for me, it was once I heard a live band play, I told myself, I have got to learn how to play an instrument. And I still haven't, but I'm glad I started. So your listeners won't get too bored with all this talking of me from times gone past. Let me play something for you new that I'm working on, and then we'll go back, pick up the story.
beautiful. When did you have the first guitar in your hands?
Well, the first time I had any direct contact with a guitar, I was over at a friend of mine's house. It was a ratty-looking old K guitar, and I tried to play it and couldn't make a good sound out of it. And I thought, well, what you need to do is you need to play it, and if you touch the strings real lightly, they'll make a good sound. So I was doing something like, and it didn't sound good. And of course, I figured out a little while later that if you pressed down and held the string down on the fret, you'd get a little bit better sound. Well, when I finally got going on guitar, it was because my brother was kind enough to let me play his guitar when he wasn't using it. He started a band and brought a couple of guys over to our house, and I listened to them, and it was kind of strange, and I thought they weren't really doing it right, but I didn't know enough about it to have an informed opinion. So I listened to their songs, and I think about 3 weeks later, my brother heard me playing all the leads that they couldn't play, and he decided I would be the lead guitar player, which is still funny, which isn't to say that was anything spectacular, but such as it was, I was the best they had for the time.
Gene, first you entered some cover bands, I know, and you played with them. How old have you been, and what kind of music did you play at that time, and where? What had been your idols and stars?
Well, what got me going after I played in that band a little while with my brother, I learned a lot of stuff, and you did stuff like Mustang Sally, you better slow that Mustang down, and all that rhythm and blues and Stax music and things like that. It was easy enough at the time to get going, and you were thrilled that you were just playing in a band. Period. That was really, really great. I remember during this point in time where I was with a band long enough where we built a repertoire, we would try and go get and battle the bands, and we weren't very good and didn't last very long. The other thing I remember at that point in time was on public television. They had a program called the Segovia Masterclass, and I listened to him play nylon string guitar, and I was absolutely fascinated. To this day, it still fascinates me that people can play polyphonic music on the guitar. I kept that in my mind, and years later, I finally acted on it.
So you started getting interested to do your own music. How came? Did you have already melodies and ideas in your mind?
Well, I think the way I became interested in trying to write music was at the point in time where I made this little breakthrough was I was listening to the twangy electric guitar music bands were playing. If you wanted to be a lead player, you had to play this twangy surf music, or you had to play in a country band, and the country guitar players were much better players, and the stuff that they could play was way over everybody's head. But my interest completely changed when I heard Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin and Cream, but Hendrix was the one that did it for me. I obsessed over the second album, Axis Bold as Love, and that was the one where, besides his incredibly great guitar playing, he had really high-quality lyric songs. The words were really great, and that's probably what inspired me to try and write songs.
Looking back into the bands you have played with, I think you learn a lot if you cover. What was your most important point about that?
Well, before I got into doing a lot of original music, and as a matter of fact, this before I did much of any, I played professionally for 5 or 6 years, and I played in several really good cover bands, and the repertoire that we had to play in was pretty complicated. I learned to play a lot of guitar doing that. The first really good professional band I played with, we played the complete side of the first Allman Brothers album, and Gene got to learn all the lead guitar parts that one person could play, and the other people in the band we had a really good drummer and a keyboard player that played keyboard bass. So 3 guys were doing Allman Brothers tunes, and we did a great job on them. One of the other learning experiences was at that same band. We played the entire one side of Abraxas with Oyakoma Vaughn, Black Magic Woman, all that other kind of stuff. That affected my playing a lot, and I got my tone and my sound much more organized. Besides doing that stuff in this first good band, we did a lot of Chicago and Blood, Sweat, and Tears and Average White Band, and later on Tower of Power. And all that music is really top shelf. It demands that you show up and be able to play well. But that's pretty much where I got to learn to play the electric guitar, even though I don't do it much anymore. At one time I was competent.
I heard you went as well to Nashville. How came and how did that feel at this time? How was music life there, and did you mirror this time in any song? You could introduce us, please?
Well, I went to Nashville mainly because I'd gotten interested in writing all kinds of music, but I liked some country music, and I got to hear a lot of it live. And so I worked on it, and I got a few songs. And I went out there for a while, and I went out there long enough to spend all the money I had and then come back home, because I surely wasn't going to move out there and live, which is really what you have to do if you want to make it in the business out there. But anyway, while I was out there, I had a couple of good close calls. I almost got a cut with a song for Charlie Pride. I went and saw his producer at the time, Tom Collins, and I demoed out a song for him, or played it in front of him, and he liked it. And he said that this is a good song, and the only thing I don't like about it is I don't like your verses. Your chorus is great. So I'll just try and do that little bit for you guys right now, at least just the chorus. And baby, I love you in a pure and simple way, like sunset in the evening when I'm coming home to stay. And baby, I need you more than I can say, and every day's a good day for our pure and simple way. I'll do a tiny excerpt of one other song that looked like I was going to get cut, but no, that didn't happen either. Anyway, hope you guys like this. It's rain outside and the devil's in my head from what I had to drink last night. You see me smile and joke about it all, but I'd have to feel much better to die. Another shot of lovesick blues, half a keg of Born to Lose, a 6-pack of old memories of loving you. And it's one more drink and maybe you'll be gone.
You have a beautiful voice, and the harmonies, singing-wise, are very, very cool. As well, I like the smooth guitar sound and play. So, perfect song for me. We want to learn what kind of music you love to do. We know you go from classic to jazz, blues to rock. Is there any favorite genre you love to do?
Well, asking me what kind of music I love to do, that's a good way to put it. I love to do anything I can do on solo guitar, and I'd prefer to do nothing but play the nylon string guitar all the time, although I'm using a clean sort of a jazz sound with electric guitar I'm starting to play because arthritis is making it harder and harder to play guitar. But as far as the kind of music I like to play, I love trying to play jazz and blues and classical, and I like to write lyric music. That's more than enough to keep me busy for the foreseeable future. But if I can do it as a solo and make it sound like me doing it and not copying somebody, then I'm a very happy person indeed.
How do songs come to your mind, Gene? Does it come more from things happen, or maybe some dreams? Where do you pick up theme and genre for your compositions?
How do I think up songs? Where do they come from? Well, I'll begin by telling you, a long time ago when I was playing in bands, I started a discipline because I became more and more serious about writing songs, lyric songs especially. And this is the way it worked. Every morning I seemed to be going down to a Days Inn restaurant and maybe a little hungover, maybe not. And the name of the game was that you can't have breakfast until you write. And it can't be junk. It has to be a good piece. And after I did this for a little while, I could turn the faucet off and on when I wanted to, and I could write. The downside is to this very day, I have to write all the time. But where do my ideas come from? Just anywhere. Sometimes I wake up and music has written itself, and I have to listen to it in my mind as I wake up and go, oh, that's interesting. Sometimes it's about content. It's about things that are going on currently in the world. And I can't write about a lot of that right now because I can't be very articulate because most of it makes me really angry. And we've already got enough anger to go around without somebody writing it in the music, or at least that's the way I feel it. Let me put it this way. It doesn't make me feel better if I do it like that. As far as themes that I like to write, and I don't really have anything specific. I don't even have a way I do things twice. Sometimes I write lyrics, and they'll sit around in a book for a long time, and I'll look at them one day, and they'll make sense, and I'll make a song out of it. Sometimes I sit down and want to write lyric music, but the music comes first. I don't think I have any specific order I ever do it in. The only thing is I try to do it very quickly. Driving home from work until before I retired, a lot of the songs that I put on Vandalism, the game was I would drive from work and home from work, and I would make up the music and have the guitar parts in my mind. And as soon as I got home, I would sit down as quickly as possible, cobble the music together, and write the words down and do it. And from start to finish, when I got home, it was like 15 minutes from the time I got home till I recorded it, because I liked working fast. Because every time I go slowly, the more I work on it, the more the fire goes out of it and the more the inspiration goes away. So quicker is better. However, doing great songs, especially lyric songs off at the top of your head, I'll never be able to do that. I don't know. There are some people I see that can do it, but old Gino, the lyrics, he has to take a long time getting to do what I need him to do. Anyway, that's kind of the long and short answer for it.
I see some parallels here. I have same. I get some lyrics or melodies in my mind I need to put down very quick because they are volatile and they somehow disappear in few seconds only. Tell us, do you play other instruments as well? And how many you have at home?
Let's see. I play mostly guitar. I have played professionally and actually been paid money to be a bass player in bands, and I've been a drummer in a band, and I play the mandolin not very well, and I had a banjo for a while, and I never got good at it. But mainly it's guitar and bass and drums. That's probably what I'm marginally competent at.
Gene, which one is the favorite of your guitars? Could you maybe sit down with this guitar and record and play us something immediately?
Well, let's see. My favorite, unquestionably, is my Takamine P3 FCN that replaced my beloved C132 Takamine. And I stopped playing that guitar because the fret width was the standard classical style, and my hands hurt me when I do that. Other than that, I've got a Telecaster that I play and I like, and I've got a Epiphone Joe Pass jazz box, and I like it a lot. And I've got some other odds and ends as far as I've got an electric guitar with the MG pickups and a Floyd Rose on it, and I use it for special things. But it's a nice guitar after I did some work on it. But if you'd like me to play something for you on the classical, I'd surely be glad to.
Radio Raumstation, we love a lot the improvisation. And in case you agree, I'm nearly sure you do, we would love to paint a picture for you and you just play and sing what comes to your mind. Imagine you would be in a city with a lot of people in the streets and rush hour. What would you like to say to the people? Wow, very, very cool. Tell us, which period of your life was the most happy one? And do you have a song we can maybe feel a bit about that? Or can you play something for us expressing your feelings at that time?
Well, I can't think of many times in my life I haven't been mostly happy, but after I got out of the band business and went and learned to do something else for a living, I laid off of music for several years. And a few years back, I cut an album, and it was singer-songwriter stuff, and I like the energy, and it's something I don't mind thinking back to ever. The song I want to play for you here is off of it. It's called Dream Patrol.
Met this girl so long-eyed lady, I hope that she could be my dream. Looked at me and she smiled that smile, said she put my name on file. Darling, it ain't that I'm unwaiting, and I don't think I'd be overstayed. Now much a night with you and me to be. So walk, don't run, I'm on the dream patrol. Walk, don't run, I'm on the dream patrol. Come fly with me, drive on the dream patrol.
high energy when you are happy, Gene. So you surely will jump around at that moment. What equipment you use for recording, please?
Well, I've got some decent basic recording equipment. I got a couple of good AKG microphones and some 20th century input devices. And, as a matter of fact, everything I've got is 20th century. Nothing very modern, but it is. I'm working off of a PC to do it. I'm not as well-heeled as some of my friends are that have their Apples and all the other great things they use. But if I had my choice, I'd just play my guitar and sing. But lately, I'm trying to do a little bit more, and I have to admit it, I'm enjoying it. Anyway, I hope you guys are going to like what I've done. First example was probably what I played at the front of the program. That's what done with my new equipment setup.
Your setup is very good, I think, because the sound you offer us here is excellent. And in this environment, I maybe can convince you that you give us another recording of a classical Spanish idea. I love so much when you play a little bit Spanish.
Well, since you've asked me about the recording stuff, I'm going to, and you indicate that you'd like to hear some classical music, I'm going to just give you this. This is a classical guitar quartet that I just finished up, and it's almost truly a fugue, except one of the lines repeats all the way through, and the other three lines are definitely fugue. Anyway, I hope you guys are going to like this. I've had a good time doing it, I'll say that.
Something to dream, Gene. We are running out of time, and as a last question, can you play and sing something for us, accompanying people home? Imagine you had been in concert and now you play the last song for this evening. Which one would that be, and what do you like the people to know about you?
Well, the last piece I'd like to share with you today is, this is another thing I just did on my studio. It's very heavily vocally arranged. It's a lot of 4-part, occasionally 5-part harmony, and a very sparse guitar accompaniment. It's a very happy, sentimental, romantic song about someone telling someone how much they love them, and I think that's as good as any way to end this. And I thank you very much for letting me share my music. This last piece is called "Oh Love." Lived all my life just looking for you. I didn't know where to begin. Now what is right or wrong when you've been looking all along in the wrong place for the wrong face? All that changed today. Oh, my love, I bring to you all the love I have. Promise me the love I need. I pledge to you my life. Nothing ever stays, the same for too long. It seems to fade away. Should I leave or should I stay? Run or walk away? Leave the dance, take a chance. I know what I want to say. Oh, my love, I bring to you all the love I have. Promise me the love I need. I pledge to you my life.
I'm sorry, I did a little small impro on your last part of the song, but I needed to. Thank you very much, Gene, and I hope you stay well. Until soon. My name is Melanie Colley.
Radio Raumstation. Original music 24 hours a day.
Yeah.